Thanks for joining me while we take a look at the Springfield Echelon 4.0 Compact. This video is actually going to be broken into three parts. One is going to be some range footage, start to finish, and then I'll come back and talk about some stats on the gun, some comparisons with a couple other in the same basic class, and then part three will be why I have this gun. And if you notice that it's not looking like your typical black gun, it's not anything with the color settings on the camera. It's just because this one is OD green, one of three different colors you can get the gun in. And that's part of the reason that I got this, which I'll explain in part three. And then I may even add a little bonus footage at the end with some additional shooting. So if it looks like it's a long video, skip to the parts you want and just pick what you want. Meanwhile, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video, a thumbs up. Those always help the algorithm. If you haven't already done so, if you like what we do here on the channel, please subscribe. Click on the notifications bell so that YouTube will let you know, hopefully, when we drop new videos. We try to do that once a week. And share the videos with anyone else, any social media platform that you happen to have access to. It always helps get the words out. And finally, add comments. Comments on the video itself, comments on the gun, comments on pretty much anything you want. Just keep them respectful because this is a family channel. All right, let's get into part one, the shooting of the Echelon Compact. Springfield Echelon wearing an RMR, and in case you can't see it, let's see if we can see it from back here. The Core Essentials competition belt system. Did a review on that and post that up here at some point. Let's just do some shooting with it. Not talking, just shooting. And I'm going to bounce back and forth between all of the different ranges here. I'll try to identify what I'm shooting ahead of time. We'll see. All right, 12 yards. Ask Alice, of course. Red Prairie Dog. And the plates. Off the rhythm. How about a 6-inch at the bottom? How about another 6-inch? Or no, 3-inch. There we go, 3-inch. Oh, come on. There we go. Took a couple of shots. Got to remember that mechanical offset. All right, 3 rounds left. Let's go over to 25 and go for the raccoon. Black Crow. Head flipper on the black silhouette. Well, come on, I hit it a couple of times and I'm not even getting it. Let's try it again. There we go, let's get it back. Aha, I got the woodchuck. Woodchuck again. There, the head flipper's out of the way. All right, standing prairie dog. There we go. 8-inch, 12-inch next to it, 6-inch over the corner. Not happening. 6-inch way over there in the corner. Oh, come on. Only had 2 cups of coffee this morning. There we go. 50 yards, gong. 16, 12-inch below it. 10-inch. 8-inch. 6-inch, hidden way over there on the left. 1 mag left. Haven't done the silhouette out there. Silver one with a red center. Yeah, I did move it. All right, back to the gong. Back to the plates here at 12. Oh, we haven't done the silhouette up here. Plates. Red Prairie Dog. Silhouette. And a flinch on the last one, and we are empty. Echelon 4.0 compact with an RMR. Loving it. All right, Echelon Compact it's a 4.0 now. They've got a 4.5 comp. They've got a full size. They've got something like 31 different model variations of the Echelon. I didn't realize tested one a while back. I think if I remember right, and if I did, I'll post it up here somewhere. But it just really didn't warm up to me. But the reason I got this, I'll explain that in the next part. But Springfield calls this a superior approach to modern pistol design. And even though it's sort of the basic Gen 3 Glock design, sort of, but with a lot of changes to it, I agree that it is a whole lot better. Now, I carried a Glock for 24 years on duty. I got nothing against a Glock. But anyway, some things about the Springfield Echelon Compact. First of all, it has a chassis design. It's called the Central Operating Group, and that's the serial numbered part. It's kind of like what SIG did a while back. You can pop the whole operating system out, change grip modules, etc. But one of the things I really like about it, and we'll get to the specifics on the frame, the slide, and whatever, but one of the things that really attracted me to it is the fact that it has what they call the variable interface system that allows you to direct mount more than 30 different optics to it. That is, I don't know if it's revolutionary, but it certainly is evolutionary. No optics plates involved. Don't have to worry about ordering different plates for different things, or like a Glock comes with a half a dozen different plastic optics plates. It's direct mount, which I really like. And that's why you see the sights are relatively low profile, yet you get co-witness with them. And the way this is set up is when the sights are aligned, the dot is just halfway onto the top of the front sight. So it's really a full co-witness. But again, the variable interface system is really simple to put on a variety of different optics without having to get plates. They also now have this in a comped model as a half-inch of the barrel, puts compensator on the end. I've been studying more on comps versus porting, and the comps are the rage these days, and they do a very minor have a very minor role to play in reducing the felt recoil or the muzzle rise of the gun. Porting is much more effective than a comp, but everybody's got to have a comp for some reason these days. All right, a couple things that I do like about this. First of all, what's it come with? It comes in your plain old box with a soft bag in it and accessories. And when I'm talking about the accessories here, it's got a loader. Yeah, certainly not what I would desire for a loader. I much prefer the Upalula. But I want to talk about back straps. It comes with 3 different back straps. The one that's on there right now is, you can just barely see it at the bottom here. See if I get the camera to focus on that. It says M for medium. And I'm going to put the small on. And again, the reason for some of this I'm going to get into in the next part. But what I really like about it, by the way, for the safety good. Oh, I got a comment on a video that only neophytes or people who didn't know anything about guns would have to emphasize the safety on a video. Now, come on. YouTube is really particular about safety, and safety is what we want to emphasize so that we don't get the video demonetized or channel strike or anything like that. So I'm going to show you that, in fact, this gun is unloaded, no magazine, no round in the chamber, and it's in a safe environment. All right, and I did that because the back straps are what is really interesting to change on this. There, I just took off the medium and put on the small. It is just that simple. Press down on the tab inside, that releases it from the slot on the back of the frame, right there, and swap back straps. I thought the Smith & Wesson design was simple. This one is even simpler. I keep the medium on it. It seems to work well for my hands, but again, we get to the next part to tell you why I do swap the back straps. All right, so let's start looking at some of the other features on this. Starting with the top, we already mentioned the sights. Now this has a tritium front and a U-notch rear. Not a big fan of the U-notch rear. It's okay for really quick sight acquisition, mainly for being still basically target focus, a flash sight picture, so to speak. So you can bring it up and get those sights fairly quick. Really not great for pinpoint accuracy, though. Flat top slide, and it does have a trench here in the front, which makes it easy to press check, and also get good gripping from the top. Let's see, good aggressive serrations in the back, but again, if you got an optic on it, you just run it by hand in the front of the optic, which does work. And a little bit of flared area at the back, so if you do slingshot the the slide to chamber around. You've got a little bit of an indentation, a little bit of flare on it, which makes it a little easier to get a hold of. So this a little bit of contouring at the front, again, just not quite a carry melt. Sights are dovetailed front and rear, easy to drift adjust if you need to or to change. Typical takedown lever, 3-slot Picatinny rail. Lots of texturing on this gun. They call this adaptive grip texture. It's not super aggressive like it is on the Smith & Wesson, which we'll show here in just a minute, but it's also not kind of slick like a lot of the Glock stuff is. I'm going to come back to the texturing here in just a minute. Fully ambidextrous, slide stop lever on both sides, ambidextrous with magazine release. That's because the magazines, by the way, it comes with 2 of them. You hear that, Kimber? 2. The magazine catches on the front of the magazine, so it's fully ambidextrous. You don't have to swap anything around. It works well that way. Not much of a mag well, just a little bit, but that's okay. Nice undercuts on the trigger guard. Again, helps get that grip position just right. And here's where I like the texturing. There's what I call a landing pad on the left-hand side, identical on the right-hand side. Additionally, on the left, you've got texture on also somewhat of a contoured slide stop lever. So depending on your hand size, you can always find a place to anchor if you're right-handed, you can anchor that secondary hand thumb to give you that forward leverage on the gun. Right there in front, if you've got shorter hands, and some of the people that have used this gun, which we'll talk about coming up in a minute, have had smaller hands, and they anchor right here on the textured and contoured slide stop lever. So again, that's really thoughtful of Springfield the way they did this. And on the right hand side, again, we've been teaching this, again, coming up to that, where your finger outside the trigger guard, not down by the trigger guard, but well away from it, pointing the same direction as the barrel, there's a landing pad for your trigger finger. So all of those are good, thoughtful index points. Enlarged trigger guard, you can definitely get glove fingers in there. If you shoot like Jerry or Lena Mikulik, you've got a little spot on the front where you can anchor your fingers. And again, we won't get into that. Little texture under here, again, that's where you get the texture and traction right on your secondary hand. A lot of good things to say about this. Good high beaver tail, good high grip position, so you get close to the bore axis. All right, real quick, come on, I don't do quick. Comparison with some of the other common guns in this. Before we do that, let's weigh the firearms. Just get some comparisons here. So with 16 rounds of 124 grain ammunition, that's 15 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, 32.1 ounces, and that's again with a magazine and an optic. And we'll see how this compares to some of the others. Just set the Echelon aside. The common one would be the Glock 19. Again, nothing in the magazine. Chamber is empty. Same ammunition because it has the same capacity. So pretty close. Again, this has a threaded barrel, so that probably adds for the difference there. And let's see, how about the Palmetto State Armory Compact, basically same size. 31.6 ounces, but that does have a threaded barrel on it. So again, it's going to be a little lighter. Now, part of the lightness on this is going to be the magazines on this. This does not have the metal liner like a Glock mag. This is a P-mag. It came with the gun. And then finally, again, we are empty. Finally, the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, which I have carried for quite a bit. That comes out at 34.7. It's kind of the heavyweight of all of these. Trigger, a little bit different now. I'm going to start with the standby on this to get we have verified that it's empty. Just take the magazine out of it. Trigger on the Glock it's a Glock trigger. It has some take up, some mush, and a couple of false walls. It finally breaks. It's an okay trigger. Nothing great to write home about. PSA dagger. Again, get the magazine out. We are empty. It's got the old style Smith & Wesson type hinged trigger on it. I don't have any problem with that. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of take up on this, and some mush and a false wall as you go through. Again, not a bad trigger, just certainly not one of my favorites. Smith & Wesson, on the other hand, is the new M&P 2.0. It does have a blade on the front of the trigger as your trigger safety. It's got a lot of take-up, but it's a good free play take-up. So this gun is basically 100% cocked. That's why I like the manual safety on it. And once you take it up, there's no false walls. It's just very short, clean, and crisp, like the trigger on it. And then we get back to the Echelon. Again, we are empty. Trigger tab safety on the front. Some free play, some prep or take up, no big deal. And if you really work at it, there's just one little false wall, a little glitch in there, and it finally breaks. Of the 4 guns, I think the Smith & Wesson trigger is the nicest. This is probably a close second to it. So I kind of like it. All right, so that's all the specifics on the gun itself. I'm kind of getting to like this gun. I just wish they'd come out with a model with a manual safety. I know, let's not even get into the discussion of manual safeties. I prefer them. You may not. That's okay. All right, so much for that. Now let's talk about why I have this particular gun. If you follow this channel for any length of time, you know that I work with the Ann Arbor Arms training team down at Hillsdale College doing their Liberty shooting camps. A couple of years ago, Springfield provided 20 full-size Echelons to Hillsdale to use in their shooting camps. And I had a chance to work with them down there a little, kind of liked them. But again, nothing that I was going to go out and buy an Echelon for. Well, then I happened to walk into my local gun store, and lo and behold, they had an Echelon Compact there. Figured, well, you know, a Compact is more my style because I'm more into carry guns, and you know that might be a good contrast to have at the camps because of some of the camp participants had smaller hands. Maybe they'd want a smaller gun. Plus, none of theirs run optics. I do run an optic on this one, obviously, and yeah, maybe there'd be some contrast there, an opportunity to pick one up and have a good use for it because I'm probably not going to carry it much just because I have other options. And they happen to have this one in OD green. As I mentioned earlier, they come in black, OD green, and flat dark earth tan, whatever you want to call it. And it sat there on the shelf for quite a while, and because it had been sitting there, I actually got a pretty good deal on it. Color, I don't care. Dark enough doesn't bother me. So anyway, the price was right on it, and because Hillsdale was also using these, I thought this would be a good complement to what we do down there. And at the end of each shooting camp, I've been doing a kind of a concealed carry module where I've had a dozen or more different guns out for all the camp participants to try, and this added to it. And a lot of camp participants like the Compact as opposed to the full size because it fit their hand better. So it served a purpose by actually adding it to the camp, adding it to my collection here at a good price just because it was green. Nobody wanted to buy an OD green. So that's why I've got it, and again, I like the way this thing shoots. I've been carrying it down there at the camps and been pretty happy with it. Have not had, in fact, not only haven't I had a failure with this gun, but we've done 10 shooting camps now over the last 2 years at Hillsdale College for their Liberty shooting camps using their full-size Echelons. We have not had a gun-related failure. 20 guns, 10 camps, well over, I couldn't even begin to count, but I bet so far we're probably 5,000 rounds into each of those 20 guns. And they've had a lot of use down there, maybe even more than that. And again, no failure. So highly reliable. I love all the features about it, especially the textured areas for the landing pads for primary and secondary hand and so forth. I like the texture up here, which I didn't mention earlier, which, sorry, Smith & Wesson, you kind of missed out on that. A lot of good things to say about it. All right, enough. Typical, it went longer than I ever intend videos to go, but that's kind of the way of the channel. I got some bonus footage coming in here of some of the early shooting with this, a couple different situations just to give you an idea of how it performs from a couple of different angles and different days on the range. That's it. So other than that, thank you so much for stopping in. Start with Alice and the plates. How about the red prairie dog? And there was a flinch.